Yasuke anime is one of the worst animes of all time. See, I was in Google's trends just to figure out what video I should make next, just to figure out what might be blowing up. So I searched up Yasuke anime. I don't know what the fuck that was, so I did a little bit of research. So, Yasuke Anime is a Netflix original starring this guy. You probably have seen him somewhere, right? But don't really know what movies he's played. Now, I did even some research on this guy. I literally googled up his IMDb page and I couldn't figure out what the fuck he played on, but he's a pretty notable actor. So I looked in deeper on the Yasuke anime, and guess what studio is animating this show? You guessed it, the Cheesecake Factory of anime studios. The top-notch, top tier of anime studios. You guessed it, Mappa Studios is doing this anime. And it got me pretty hyped for Lee Radcliffe, a pretty notable Hollywood actor, and Mappa Studios doing the artwork. What could possibly go wrong? See, 5 seconds into fucking anime, you see fucking English names just flashing all over the place. Written by English person, produced by English person. And I'm not saying that you gotta be Japanese to make a good anime, but I leave it to the Japanese people to make stories about Japanese history. I watched this show, the abomination and just pure cucklery of this show. I mean, goddamn, it's one of the most American animes of all time. There was this scene where Yasuke was sitting in a bar and he was sliding a drink into his hand. I hope you know that that's not a thing in Japan. That's never a thing in Japan. The fact that you go into a bar in daylight is not a Japanese thing. That's not what happens in Japan. Plus, where the bar is at is in the middle of a rice field. In rural Japan, in the Middle Ages, that does not exist. A bar in the middle of a rice paddy doesn't exist. I mean, if you're talking about accuracy, this anime does not have it. Just the fucking proof that it doesn't. 25 minutes in the anime, when you thought that you were done with the first episode, just gonna write it off as dropped in your My Anime list and give it a 1, you see a fucking robot descending upon you from the heavens without any explanation whatsoever. And you just sort of stare at that motherfucker and your ass is like, yo, that's not how middle-aged Japan looks like. And the soundtrack too, oh my god, it feels like it's fucking written by Bad Batty. It wants to be like this hip-hop cool lo-fi type of beat, then it turns into fucking drumsticks, middle-aged Japan, something that Demon Slayer fucking scratched off because it was too terrible. It's so disoriented and feels so weird. You know what I think this anime is? This anime is supposed to be trending. I can imagine being in a boardroom for Netflix, right? It's hey guys, what should we start funding for in the animation section of Netflix? Well, Josh, I think that anime thing is really popping off. I was like, oh, is that right, Bill? What is this anime thing? Well, I think it's this thing in Japan where they have big eyes. It sort of looks like Avatar, The Last Airbender. I was like, yeah, cool. Let's put a notable actor on it. Who's the best studio who does it? I think a Studio Mappa, yeah, they could take anything. They're fucking airing Zombieland Saga and Attack on Titan in back-to-back seasons. Oh yeah, they'll fucking accept it. Why the fuck not? We'll just throw them this shitty story and just hope they fucking animate it as best as possible. Lakeith Stanfield in this fucking show, just so bad. You know that his heart isn't there. There is this one scene where Yasuke is screaming to this child about honor. The fucking animation, he's plain face and just don't talk about honor like that. While his voice is
you have no idea what honor is, boy. Honor is not willingly giving up your life.
It's so bad. Like, it's almost like Keith Stanfield was handed a script, shoved a blue Yeti in his face, and just start, okay, can you just read these lines in like the span of 2 hours and we will call it a shoot. I think the only reason, and I'm being genuine about this, and sure, you can call me a racist, but the only reason why this show exists is because there's a black character in it. And I talked about how black anime characters are cool, but the reason why they're cool is because they're super low key. And it sort of feels like, yeah, that's a black dude. Shout out to him. While Yasuke is sort of just black for the sake of it, he's sort of just black. If he was Japanese, this show would never be airing. If he was like some random Japanese dude who has the same fucking past, this show wouldn't even have $100,000 worth of budgeting. But this show is starring a B-list actor who is black and has a black anime character as a main cell of the story. So that's why this fucking show exists.